Hey, good morning, Jacques. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. I'm talking to Garth Brooks.
Entering his second year as the LSU head football coach.
It was the only way I could get a foot in the door.
Joined by the icon, Kim Mulkey. Hey, Coach, great to see you.
We'll talk about great memories from the 1990s. Herb Tyler was LSU's starting quarterback, starting late in 1995 all the way through 1998. He's nice enough to come down to Channel 9 and see us. Herb, great to see you, man.
Yes, sir. Pleasure being here. Thank you for having me, Jacques.
You bet, man.
Yes.
You bet. Can you believe 1995 is 30 years ago?
No, I don't, but it is. The crazy part about it is math, and it's correct. 30 years ago, that's amazing. That's crazy.
Eddie Kinnison, one of your top targets in 1995. I was talking to him about that the other day. I don't know if it's fascinating, depressing, all rolled into one, but just to start there, the modern day fan may not realize it, but 1995 was a breakthrough for LSU because 6 straight losing seasons. Things weren't going well. The stadium, that, as we know, Tiger Stadium was I don't want to say empty, but it wasn't packed, and you guys kind of changed that year.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were getting into, but we did realize, though, that it was going to be a tough go, if you will, trying to alleviate 6, previous seasons of losing seasons, if you will. Yeah. But we were just there. We were true freshmen at the time. Myself, Kevin, Booger, Todd McClure, Rondell, all of us. We were just true freshmen, and we just wanted to try to get in and see what we can do and play some football. But, what we ended up calling it now is bringing back the magic, and it was a beautiful thing. But we had some really great guys that Curly Hallman recruited that was already on the team: Gabe Northern, Shedrick Wilson, Kendall Cleveland, Alan Faneca, Ben Bordelon, all these guys, and I can keep going. Jamie Howard, Melvin Hill, Casey Tabor, all these guys. We can keep going and saying their names, but they were really instrumental in us being successful in 1995.
It was a nice mesh between what Curly left and what DiNardo brought in.
Absolutely. The mesh was really beautiful because those guys had the bodies and they were ready to actually play football. And the mentality that they had was that, we don't want to lose anymore. But they also were open arms and saying, hey, we want to teach these younger guys what it takes to be really good football players here in the SEC and hope that, we can have some games that we can have under our belt and win. The crazy part about it was that it was, I think we went literally 6-4 that year. It was 6-4-1.
It was a tie.
In order to get into a winning season, to get a bowl game. So that was crazy. So we won that 7th game in the bowl game.
That's right. And a quick shout out, Chuck Wiley. That was another one.
Chuck boy, yes sir.
Yeah, from here in Baton Rouge, who was on that team as well.
Yes.
I remember the season opener. You guys played at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Hot, right? Day game.
2,000 degrees out there.
On that turf. And you lost the game, but you kind of surged at the end. And I remember, I think Kevin there were some touchdowns scored there at the end, and it was kind of like, okay, this team lost the season opener, but they didn't fade. They kind of, showed some life. And then the next week you go to Mississippi State, beat them pretty easily. I think Kevin broke off a long touchdown.
Yep.
Kinnison gets in the game in the first play. They throw a 50-yarder to him from Jamie hits him, right? For a long touchdown.
It's a beautiful play.
Beautiful play. Eddie and DiNardo were a little sideways, he told me, about running track. And DiNardo put him in the game and scored on the first play he was in.
There you
go. But then bring back the magic. This is one of the special games. I know you didn't play in the game, but you were there. What do you remember about Auburn and beating them 12-6 that night?
The crazy part about that game, I just remember Troy Twilley catching that interception. And the thing about it is every year since then, if you think about it, that Auburn-LSU matchup has been really 2 of the same equal teams, talent-wise, coaching-wise, and everything except for that one year when Cam Newton kind of ran crazy on us. But it's always two very similar teams. So we won that game. I was not actually on the sideline for that game. I was redshirt at the time, and I was watching it from my dorm room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I didn't attend the actual game, but I just remember watching it. But I also knew what we had. I didn't know what Auburn had. I knew what we had, and watching the Texas A&M game and those games leading up to that game, I knew how well we could play. Now, I was at the Texas A&M game, and I just remember how like the guys from Texas A&M, their linebackers and their running backs were just like grown men to me because I was a 17-year-old kid that was, 180 pounds at the time. Now I can't get under 225, so I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with that. But anyway, I just knew what kind of team we had. And so when we did win in against Auburn, I thought that, man, this is something special. Maybe we can keep this thing going, and let's see what happens from here. But if you think about it, those two teams, the LSU and Auburn teams, are almost identical every year. Even when the 2019 season, think about it, I think we won 23-20.
It was a tough game.
It was a very tough game. It's always evenly matched. They always play us very well. We play them very well, and it's always like that, just that really stalemate type of game.
Yeah, you're right. In 2019, Burrow got smashed on the sideline.
Yeah.
He got up, jogged right back in the huddle. We were talking about it at SEC Media Days. I miss Auburn being on the schedule the last couple of years. It's weird that LSU and Auburn aren't playing anymore, and I always like going to Jordan-Hare Stadium.
It's almost a rivalry game to me because, again, it goes back to what I said. It's exact identical teams every time that plays each other, and it's very difficult to play them because they're very tough, and they're a grinded-out team, and they don't get the, I say they don't get it, but they're a top-tier SEC team, and I miss watching them play Auburn every year. It's a really good matchup.
Well, in '96, the next year when you're the starter, that was a classic game.
That was a great game.
Early season game,
Yes.
the tension, big. You remember ESPN? They had Ron Franklin, the play-by-play guy. His voice brought so much drama to the game. You know. And before the internet, where there were so many games on TV, and you're watching, and that was the barn is burning game.
That's amazing.
Let's see, it was 1915. Rayon Hill. That was the Rayon Hill game, right?
Yep. Caught the intercept, ran back 100 yards or whatever it was. And I don't remember if that was an actual touchdown or a 2-point conversion.
It was a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
He had one for a touchdown.
Yeah, one for a touchdown and one for a 2-point.
And it's 17-15. Auburn's trying to tie it, and he picks it off and seals it 19-15.
Picks it off.
2-point conversion on return.
Again, tough stalemate type of game. Very similar teams playing against each other. Talents very identical. It was a beautiful game, and I had no idea that the barn was on fire. Zero.
Because of where you were positioned. It's behind you.
It's behind me, and no one is saying anything. Like, even if they were saying anything, like the fans are pointing to whatever, I was so focused and locked in. Again, I'm a true sophomore. This is probably my, seventh game or so playing in the SEC, and I'm like just super focused and hyper locked in, trying to make sure I don't make any mistakes. And this game is tight, and I'm like, man, it's going down. And I remember some reporter, I don't remember who it was, from ESPN or somewhere, he asked me in the locker room, he said, so what do you think about the fire? And I'm like, what fire? What fire are you speaking of? I have no clue. So it was pretty awesome, though. When I actually saw the photos of it, it's amazing that no one got hurt, and we're praying and happy that no one got hurt. But it was a crazy, amazing game.
Well, if that would have happened today because of social media and whatnot,
it
would have, mania would have spread in a minute around the world. People would have had pictures, and they would have probably stopped the game. I
probably had my Apple Watch on, my Samsung watch on, looking at it in the middle of the game. But yeah, it's all good.
Also that game, that was Kevin Faulk shaved All Eyes on 3.
Was that game?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe DiNardo was disappointed.
He did not like that whatsoever. And we thought it was the greatest thing in the world. It was homage to Tupac, right?
Yeah.
I think Tupac had passed away either that year or the year before. I can't remember which year it was. But
Tupac was big at the time.
He was huge. He was the man. And so he had an album or a song called All Eyes on Me. So Kev had it carved in his head, All Eyes on 3, which all eyes were on 3. And for whatever reason, DiNardo did not like that. I think he thought it brought too much attention to Kevin solely. But at the end of the day, anyone who knows Kevin is not about Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin's about everyone else but Kevin.
I think that was DiNardo's soundbite at the time. This was out of character for Kevin to do something like that.
Yeah, but that's not what that was Kevin saying, hey, I want to pay homage to a really great artist that I think is someone who says something that's meaningful that can really impact the world.
Well, since you brought up Kevin, his importance to LSU football, I mean, it's a team game.
Yep.
But he's the centerpiece of this whole movement.
Yeah.
Because everybody
100%.
in the country wanted him, and he made LSU cool when he decided to go to LSU, and then other guys fell in line.
Yeah, so when he made the commitment to say, I'm going to LSU, that's when the dominoes fell with everybody. It was Rondell, myself, Marquise Spears, Todd McClure, any and everybody that you can think of in 1995 that said that, because we all were kind of up in the air. When Kevin committed, we all committed after that. And then moving forward, what you see now is what you get. Kevin, I think, is still the all-time rushing back in the SEC. He still holds tremendous amounts of records in the SEC. And we're talking about a conference that had a Bo Jackson, a Herschel Walker, a Sean Alexander, all of these guys, or you hear those names, but Kevin is the guy that's atop all of them. And that's including, Charles Alexander, the great Charles Alexander from LSU, things like that. So at the end of the day, Kevin is the guy that really created this whole monster of what you see for Louisiana players staying at LSU and really wanting to be that hometown hero for the home state school and university.
Well, Kevin will say in his very humble way that guys don't play 4 years anymore. Kevin played all 4 years.
Yes, he did.
Played in every bowl game, and you did too.
Yeah.
And just for the current generation, I enjoyed every bowl game you guys played in. I thought they were exciting. I wasn't, this bowl game sucks, I don't care, like it is now. Kevin is still LSU's all-time leading rusher.
Yep.
I talked to Leonard Fournette during the summer. He says he's disappointed that he didn't catch him because he got hurt.
Yeah.
He would have caught him in 3 years, perhaps, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt. But anyway,
that's a whole different
still
story,
belongs
right?
to Kevin.
That's a different story right there. The Leonard Fournette thing is a thing where, okay, coach, just don't turn around and give him the ball every play, maybe every other play, and then maybe he doesn't get hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then but Kevin was special though. Kevin could do everything: punt return, kick return, run routes out of the backfield, line up as a receiver. He can go back and play free safety if you wanted to. Not saying that Leonard couldn't do it, but at the end of the day, Kevin was just able to be. And what's really weird about Kevin? Kevin was not this large running back. His size and stature is not huge, but he very rarely got hurt, like injured for long periods of time. Yeah. He may have got nicked up here and there and things of that nature, but he was tough as nails. So, he's awesome.
Well, in doing this recent Cecil Collins documentary that we did, maybe I didn't realize this at the time, but how Kevin and Cecil's past, were kind of running parallel.
Yeah.
And I already knew Kevin was an amazing person. But first off, to be rooting for Cecil Collins as he's taking your gig because Kevin had a hamstring pull or something, to root for Cecil Collins. Then when Cecil Collins is thrown off the team, to drive to McNeese and go cheer him on. Yeah. And then when Cecil goes to prison, to write him letters and to call him and all that stuff for a guy that was on the team and played 3 or 4 games. That speaks volumes. And also to Cecil, who obviously I know a lot better now, and once a Tiger, always a Tiger. He's our brother for life type thing.
Yep. So remember what I said about Kevin earlier. He's never about Kevin. He's always been about everybody else, and then Kevin's next. And I'm similar in the same way. So, Kevin not only cheered Cecil on, he cheered Rondell on. He also cheered on Kendall Cleveland. He cheered on Derek Beavers when he was there. He cheered on Robert Toomer when he was playing. He cheered myself on, Eddie, Shedrick, Dave, Nikki, any and everybody who was playing on the same side of the football field with him, he would cheer on. That's just who he is. He's infectious. He's a person that is a leader of men that leads from the front and not points from behind. And so that's who he is. And if you ever get an opportunity to sit down with Kevin, you will see that glowing from him on a daily basis.
He graduated from LSU in 4 years. DiNardo brought that up in a recent interview that he said, I'm coming here to get my degree. My mom told me I better get it or something along those lines. And he did. I think, Herb, that retiring numbers gets a little complicated because you're going to have so many great players.
I know where this is going.
That have played. So to take a jersey out.
Yeah.
Now, if someone deserves it, certainly I think Kevin, they should retire his jersey if they want to. But at least put him up in the Ring of Honor, up on Tiger Stadium, Faulk 3. He should be honored in that regard.
So my thoughts, genuinely about Kevin. One, I love him. He's one of my brothers forever, for life. He will never, ever not be that. Two, he deserves much more than just being in the Ring of Honor. He does deserve, in my opinion, the Ring of Honor, jersey, retired, and a statue.
A statue, okay.
And the reason why I say that is because here we are 30 years later, and we're still saying that Kevin was the one who changed this whole thing, who created the path that LSU is on down today. And I guarantee you in 30 more years, we'll be saying the same thing. And I guarantee you 30 more years from that, they'll be saying the same thing. Because there's a point of time where you can clearly see the shift of the type of athlete, the type of player that committed to LSU, whether they be from Louisiana or somewhere else. And the reason being is because of Kevin Faulk. And then you'll probably still see Kevin's name in the record books, whether it be for LSU or SEC or college football, period. He is in the College Football Hall of Fame, right? And he is in the New England Patriots Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah, I think they call it the Ring of Honor, but yes, he went in, yeah.
So he's there. So he's a guy that has 3 Super Bowl rings, should have at least had 1 or 2 national championship rings in college. And then when you start talking about he graduated in 4 years. He stayed his 4th year. Well, there was a guy who left before that, Alan Faneca. He decided to leave after his junior year, rightfully so, and he went on to become a gold jacket winner in the NFL. But Kevin stayed. He gave his all to LSU. He still gives his all to LSU, and there's no reason why Kevin should not be in the Ring of Honor, jersey number retired, as well as a statue at some point.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. He's a better person than he was a football player, and he was an amazing football player. I mean, certainly with the Patriots, 3 Super Bowls. I think he played for 2 more.
Yep.
I think when he got into the league, he wanted to be an every down back, and Belichick said, no, we're going to make you more specialized. And because of that, his career was 13 years.
Right, yeah.
When the average running back, rips all the thread off the tires in 3 or 4 years, and I'm shot, Look, Ricky Williams, gave him the ball 1,000,000 times, and, you run out of gas. But, I agree with everything you said about Kevin. Cecil. So, is not to put you on the spot, Herb Tyler.
Yeah.
Is he the most talented back you've played with?
Cecil?
Yes.
Okay, so let me explain I'm going to tell you the same way I tell anybody that always asks. The most perfect all-around back that you could have that can do a little bit of everything great is Kevin Faulk. The person who will take the football, if I have 3rd and 4, if I have 1st and 10, and I need a pure running back, is Cecil Collins. The person who I think is one of the most fluid running backs with the football in his hands that runs downhill like water runs is Rondell Mealy. So in that, there's one other one too. There's another guy that I can say I can turn around and put him at quarterback if I need be so he can be an option quarterback, but he can still turn around and play fullback and then also play halfback. That's Kendall Cleveland. He can do it all too. So the reason why I say it like that is because I literally played with 4 of the best running backs that anybody could ever ask for. And they all have something that's slightly different about them that makes them great. Cecil could see the field. He could hit the hole as quick as anybody else and make one cut, and he's out. Kevin not only understands seeing the hole and understanding when to cut and all this other stuff, but he knows how to pick up blitz. He can call out defenses while he's behind you. You can hear him, talking and speaking, as well as flex him out, and he can run wide receiver routes. It's different. Not every running back can do that. That's a Marshall Faulk type of situation. And then Rondell can pick up blitz, things of that nature, but when he has the football in his hand, he slides and glides like no other. So it's a beautiful thing. So to say that, yes, Cecil's the best pure running back if you want to talk just running back, yes. But if you want to talk all-around running back that can do a little bit of everything great, that's Kevin.
Yeah. Well put. This guy, A+ guest already, right? I know you've done your share of broadcasting, and
yes,
you do a great job.
Thank you.
When Cecil's taken off in 1997.
Man.
So he's on the team in 96, but he's ineligible. Can't play his first year.
Yeah, his red shirt, I think, or something like that. I think it was red shirt because he graduated in 96, so I think he red shirted or whatever you want to call it.
And then his first year, or in 97, first game, he said he was smoking weed. So he didn't play the first game.
Yeah.
So, but Mississippi State is when he starts to run and starts breaking it off. So are you starting to see that something is a snowball is starting to roll downhill with this guy?
Well, we saw it in 96, of course, because he was practicing with us every day. and he was running over our first team defense, and he was running back kickoff returns during scrimmages and stuff for touchdowns, and no one could catch him. But the thing about it, when you see Cecil now, his frame is much smaller than what he used to be. And but he was a straight bowling ball, as they call it. And when you hit him, and Takeo Spikes can probably speak to this, when you try to hit him as a linebacker, you don't want no part of that. He was one of the toughest people that I've ever seen running the football. But not only that, Cecil's a very smart guy. He understands football. He understood steps and pre-snap reads and all of those kinds of things, and he was just a natural at running the ball, which is one of the reasons why he was the Louisiana top running back in Louisiana.
Yeah.
The year his senior year, I think he ended up with almost 12,000 yards rushing or whatever total, or whatever the number is, something crazy. But once he got into the game at Mississippi State, this is where you really could see who he was, because now practice is one thing, but in the game with the lights on. And then it's just, our 11 against their 11 is different. And so he showed why he was probably the best running back in the country that year, period. Like, that was the first start of that. And could never get in the end zone. The poor guy, he just couldn't get that. He would run, for 60 yards and get pushed out at the 2. It was amazing.
Yeah, he got shoved out like at the pylon twice, and he's running out of his shoe one time.
Yeah, his shoe. I'm just like, look, guys, this is one of the things that, again, DiNardo was one of the greatest coaches ever. I'm indebted to Coach DiNardo forever in my entire life. There was a couple of little things that's really quirky about him, and one of which was let the guy tape his shoe up. He's clearly running out of every shoe he has. Just let him put some tape on it so it could be. But he would not let it happen, though, for whatever reason.
Oh, that was the rule. Don't tape your.
Yeah, you couldn't tape. You couldn't have a spat, as they called him.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. So Auburn comes to Tiger Stadium. Let's see here. I got my media guide here. 1997.
There you go.
It was September the 20th, 1997. So Auburn's got a lot of tremendous defensive players, right?
Yeah,
you mentioned Takeo Spikes and
who do you remember who the safety was? Because I can't remember his name. I think last name is Houston, number 25. He was a beast as well.
I don't remember. Cole Kublik, the guy on SEC Network, he was on that Auburn team. And talked about the fact that LSU outrushed us 350 to.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And we still.
That was my
fault.
That was my fault.
It was your fault, or was the play call on 3rd and 2 to roll you out and just?
No. We got to go before that. So even if it was that play call, I should have made the very best decision, which I thought I made a good decision.
Is that Larry Foster you threw it to?
I threw it to Larry, and the ball bounced off his chest, and then it hit the ground. But here's the thing, though. Before that, this is what people got to remember. If you keep looking at the stats on that thing, I think I threw 3 interceptions in the first half. So you can't expect to throw 3 interceptions in the first half and then expect to win, right? But we still had every opportunity to win the game. We had Cecil Collins. Cecil ran for 316,000 yards or whatever it was. But had I not thrown those 3 interceptions, and we could at least get 3 points out of each one of those drives, then we win by X amount of points. So, but we didn't. So imagine if we don't throw those 3 interceptions in the first half, and we play a really great second half and first half, we win that game. But again, Auburn versus LSU every time. It's one of those games where it's just this stalemate of a game, and whoever's standing at the end is who's going to win.
Yeah. It was the top rival, I think, at your time.
I think so.
You beat Florida, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, but that wasn't really a rival.
They were beating LSU a lot, and so.
Yeah. And in '96, they were untouchable in '96, and they beat us 63-10.
Yeah.
So that's not a rivalry right there.
56-13. It wasn't that bad.
It was close.
It was bad though. I remember watching that. I was like, LSU's 4-0. Here they go. We're going to the swamp, and it didn't quite come together that day. Rohan Davey said he came to LSU because he put on that game, and he said LSU's got a black quarterback.
Yeah.
But then he saw who got his head taken off.
Nemesis
Bates got drilled or something like that. And was laid out.
It was a beautiful pass.
But back to Cecil. Okay, so what were you thinking the night you're playing Auburn and you're handing the ball off to this guy and you're watching him run? I think it was 232 was the yardage. And then Rondale had 120 or 130.
Yeah.
So but Cecil.
again, typical LSU versus Mississippi State. We run the ball very
Auburn.
well. I mean, against Auburn. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's just what I saw a guy who was hungry, who was like, man, this is my time to shine. We're on national TV. We're about to make it happen, and he did just that. But he did that every day. This is just rinse and repeat for him. It's as they say, it's muscle memory for him. So. He was again a very intelligent running back. He can see the hole, he can hit it, he can go. He was fast, he was strong, I'm telling you, at some point that defense did not want any part of Cecil, not at all. But we're talking Cecil. Here's the thing: that offensive line was opening holes. They were creating the pathways for Cecil to run. We had a lot of check with me's at the line of scrimmage, meaning a lot of audibles, things that I would have to really put us in the right situation at the line of scrimmage. So, whether we go left and we go X play, or we go right and we go X play, or we check out of it, go pass play, or whatever it was. So it was a combination of everything. And so, me putting the team in the right position, the offensive line really blocking and pushing people around, and then Cecil seeing the holes and hitting them and doing what he does. So it was great.
Yeah. Of course, Cecil the next week breaks his foot. Yeah. On that god-awful turf in Nashville, Tennessee, Vanderbilt. Yeah. And then he's kind of out of sight, out of mind. We'll talk about Florida. But what was your reaction to just kind of him going downhill?
You mean downhill like the duration?
Well, I mean, he was off the team.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you've got your own life to live. You're the quarterback of the LSU Tigers. I mean, all 24 hours of your day are accounted for. Yeah. But then down the line, when he goes to prison and whatnot.
So the initial part of it, when he first hurt his foot, I didn't realize he actually hurt his foot to the extent that he did. Because when he ran the play, my thing is next, I got to get the next play and keep moving. Mm-hmm. And so when we got to the sideline, I realized how extensive the injury was. Because Kevin wasn't playing, and so now Rondell's playing. Now this changes the whole dynamic of the game, right? So I think we ended up winning that game 10-7 or something like that.
7-6.
7-6.
You blocked the extra point at the end.
Thank you, Fly Miller. Thank you very much. So that's Arnold Miller. He's the one that blocked the kick probably.
They were going for two. Remember that? They were going to try to win, and then they kept getting backed up. So they
just tried to kick the field goal. No. Okay, so but once we got back to Baton Rouge, it was like, okay, what's really going on with Cecil? And then we heard the news on Sunday exactly what was happening. And so now, we're going through the season and things like that. And then all of a sudden you hear some other stuff that's happening. Like, ooh, that's not good. And so, we're there for him no matter what. We was always talking to him. We was trying to get him not to go back home as much and do certain things and still be around the team and that kind of stuff.
Structure.
But but I think that, he was just, really wanted to do other things. And so that's what happened. But we never stopped loving him, and we always wanted him to be a part of what we are. And even today, he and I talk pretty candidly about certain things. But he's one of the best people that I know, regardless. And at the end of the day, the guy who he is today and what he went through was for a purpose and for a reason.
Yeah. So, and in case you don't know, he's basically started a second life and met his wife while he was in prison. Crazy story. Yep. Wonderful story. Yep. They have a son now who's growing like a weed and who will probably who may be in Tiger Stadium one day.
He might be
scoring touchdowns. Yep. And you two work for the same company.
Yep. We work for MAP. Cecil works for MAP Maintenance. He does. He's an electrician for us. And one of the best electricians that we had, one that were best ones we'll ever have. But the big thing about Cecil is he's a leader in our company, the same way he was in school. And the thing about Cecil now today is that he's much more mature as a person. And you'll notice that the moment you start talking to him. He's very has a very great spirituality. He's led by a great God in his life that's got him to a point where there's no looking back for him. He knows what he did, what he went through, and all those kinds of things. But the reason he went through those is to make him the man that he is today, and he truly believes that. And so he gets to an opportunity every day to be an uplifting person and to impact people's lives in a positive way, and he does it on a daily basis.
Awesome. I agree 100%. And he's moved back to the Baton Rouge area, and the perception of him has changed, I think, tremendously in the last several years. He's, like I said, he was labeled the boogeyman by some people and all this stuff. And as Jack Marucci said, he always had good in him. He made some mistakes, and he's not bitter. Like, when I heard he went to prison, when you go to prison for 13 years for what he was accused of, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of time. But he's not bitter about any of that stuff. I mean, he's just like, this is what I had to do. And I think he said if I didn't go to prison, I might be dead, or, Yeah.
So you can't ever, sometimes you got to look in the mirror, right? And not look through the window. You can look through the window and you can see everybody and what they're doing. And then you can place blame in other places. But what he does is he looked in the mirror and he realized I have to start with me. And so when he started with himself, therefore he can release any other bitterness or anything else from anyone else. And so then now he has to work from within. And that's what he did during his time that he was away. It was working on himself. And so now what you see is exactly that, which is why he's not bitter about anything.
Well, Herb Tyler, look in the mirror, not the window. That's like the name of a book or a movie or a workshop or something. That's powerful. That's great stuff.
Thank you.
All right, so Florida comes to Tiger Stadium. They're number 1 in the country, October 11th. You, as we just talked about, had played the game at Vanderbilt where you won, but it was Vanderbilt, and it was not a good game.
Correct.
I remember my dad, we had season tickets. He goes, you go, we're going to get killed. So I go, and it was one of the best nights of my life watching LSU football. Early on, let's see, you score first, right? Option play to the south end zone.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was option play, 40-something yards, going toward the south end zone. Yes, I think so.
And I think you told me you've got great athletic ability, but find Faneca, right? Just run behind Faneca.
Run behind Faneca. He blocked no one on that play, but if he had to, he would have. But there was no one to block. Everybody there was running away from him, and Rondell, I think, hit one little last DB at the very end, but it was a perfectly called play. Again, it's one of those check with me at the line of scrimmage. We had a motion going from right to left, and it was either 35 belly or 18 option to the right, or whatever pass play to the left. And when we did the motion, the cornerback went with the motion player, and this option is wide open. So let's go. Option call. I get out. Faneca's out in front of me. Rondell is the pitch guy, but some kind of way he gets to get in front of me to be able to help block a little bit too. Before you know it, 40 yards down the field in the end zone, touchdown.
Right after that, it was Doug Johnson's the quarterback of Florida.
Yeah.
He lets one fly across the middle. It's high.
Yeah. Rayon Hill. Oh, was it Rayon?
Cedric Donaldson.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Cedric Donaldson catches it, and he weaves like all the way down.
And he didn't get to the touchdown. I'm like, Ced, why don't you score? What's wrong with you?
I just remember being in the end zone jumping up and down. And if you've ever been in Tiger Stadium jumping up and down, you feel like you're just in this sea of humanity, and the whole thing is shaking, and just so loud. And it's like, oh God, they're gonna give him a game. They're not gonna kill him. Florida's not gonna kill LSU.
Right.
And Tommy Banks' first play, right? Big Tommy.
Excuse me. Yes.
Lunges over the goal line.
Yes, sir. Tommy Banks. It was a fullback draw, quick hitting play. They didn't know what hit him. Before you know it, 6 yards. Tommy's diving over the end zone, touchdown, and we're carrying out the fake for the option, if you will. And that was a beautiful play. I love running that play all the time, but it catches you. It's really quick hitting play. You don't know what's going on. So yeah, it was great.
Well, I guess when you're thinking about Kevin Faulk and all these guys, Tommy Banks isn't probably on the top of the fullback dive.
That's right.
Up the middle. Now I think you won 28-21, so there were 4 touchdowns. Second half, it's Donaldson pick six.
Pick six, beautiful play. Then I see him in his zone right now, running with the football in his hand.
Chinese Bandits, right?
Well, I don't think he was a part of the Chinese Bandits.
Okay,
but because I think the DBs were full time. The Chinese Bandits were the interior line and linebackers. They would bring them in and out, and those guys were effective because you had the second team and the third team coming in who were 100%, who playing against Florida's first team who were at 60% throughout that drive, and they would switch them out. It was amazing. It was one of the best things ever. And Sad and Rayon, I think, had 2 intercepts. So Sad had 2 intercepts. Rayon had 1 at the very end to kind of seal the game. But they benefited off of the Chinese Bandit and that interior 7 defense pressuring Doug Johnson. Now, the thing about that Florida team, this is it. The thing about they came in number 1, but that was not the same team that played us in 96.
Yeah,
because you had Warford, you had Ike here, you had Riedel Anthony, and you had some other guys. But the defense was the same defense.
Yeah.
So, and that defense was still tough. And then they had, the likes of Fred Taylor, who was one of the best running backs ever to play the game, which was difficult. But I think that every LSU fan still sees that memory of Coach Spurrier throwing his visor down and just being really upset.
Yeah, and you scored the last touchdown.
Yep, 10 yards, 12 yards.
Another option.
Another option, wide open, no one over there again. But this time, it wasn't this was a call play this time. So we had 2 receivers in the game, 1 on either side, and then what happened was the defense overloaded the field side, which is the side with the larger side of the field, and then the play was called to the short side, and it was wide open. Nobody was there. I mean, 1 cut, and that was it.
You jump into the air, and ESPN has the wide shot, and then I think they go tighter, and you literally you spin like Michael Jordan, like a 180 in the air.
Just so you know, Jacques, I still have that. I can do that today. Just so you know,
he's gonna do it right here,
right now,
of the set.
baby. Right now, I got you. But no, the beautiful thing about that was one of my most notable photos. Because it just felt like I was floating 10 feet in the air, and I was probably just really 2.5 feet, something like that. Yeah. But it was a beautiful thing, and adrenaline was rushing. And I think, this was the one where I pumped the fist, came down and landed, and then jumped up again, and then Todd McClure caught me. I don't know if anybody ever remember that, but so I jumped up the first time, did the spin with the fist pump. As soon as I hit the ground, jumped up again with the number 1, and Todd McClure just catches me like I'm a rag doll, So that was pretty cool.
And Abram Booty, big night for him.
Yeah.
Caught a lot of passes from you.
Yeah, he did a great job of continuing the drive, But Abram was always that guy. He'd catch anything. But he was a very great route runner, really decent speed. But he could catch any pass that you throw to him, and he had ice water in his veins. He didn't care about anything. He was ready to go all the time. So I love Abram. Abram was one of my favorites. Things
you forget about when you win. I think Wade Ritchie missed 3 field goals that night, and I was worried, if they lose this game in a heartbreaker, But you didn't. There was some field goals missed that night. You probably forgot. Wade, sorry about that. I just remember that.
Well, what I remember about our field goal teams throughout the years that I was there is that we had really great talent, but we wasn't really good when it was time to be good. And like, man, because my senior year, we would lose games by 2 points, 3 points. Yeah. And it was because we missed 2 field goals.
And then Wade Ritchie went to the NFL, and he couldn't miss.
He couldn't miss. He went to the San Francisco 49ers and played lights out. It's amazing. And I do think that is probably because we did not actually have a special teams coach.
That might have something to do with it. The staffs are a little different these days, right?
That's right.
They got 1 million people working over there now as opposed to back then. So the goalposts come down. You're in pandemonium. You said your helmet. You lost your helmet. You never got it back.
No, I don't know where that helmet is till this day. Somebody's got it, and I hope I would like my helmet back, please. I'm looking for it. It was
28 years later, looking for that helmet.
Yeah, it was a crazy pandemonium in that stadium. I remember somebody on the staff finding me some kind of way in all of that and said, "Hey, ESP wants to talk to you and Kevin. Let's go." And we never got to it. I just know that because it just never happened. We couldn't. Yeah. Too many people. But it was crazy being in the middle of that. I did not see the goalpost coming down, and I did not see any of that because I think I had to go around like the fence area, the sideline or whatnot to get back to the locker room. And so once we got in the locker room, it was like relief because not only was the helmet gone, but the plate, the wristband with all the plays on it was gone. My little white wristband that I would wear with my dad's initials on it was gone. Yeah. And something else. I think somebody tried to take my shoes, but they, you can't take the shoes. They're still on my feet.
Yeah. Those are hard to pry off you there. Yeah. So this might be a good point to talk about DiNardo. So I think I interviewed DiNardo a while back, and I remember after you beat Florida, he's doing what a coach should do. Okay, I got to get these guys back down to earth. We have a game next week. But I think he told me maybe he didn't let you guys enjoy the game enough or whatnot. Regardless, next week against Ole Miss, we know what happened. You guys got beat in Tiger Stadium and everything. But Jerry DiNardo was a very popular coach because they had been losing. He comes in, they start winning.
Yep.
There are some players to this day that have some issues with the way they were coached by him.
Yep.
He's always been good and gracious to me. There are players I've talked to that said they had no problem with him. Kevin Faulk.
Yeah.
You seem to have a pretty good relationship with him. What was your take on Jerry DiNardo, the rise, the fall?
Yeah. So, Coach DiNardo, first of all, always indebted to him. Like I said earlier, he's the person that offered me a scholarship because Curly Hallman did not offer me a scholarship. So DiNardo came in December of my senior year, and in December is when I was offered a scholarship, probably like really, truly more early January. And then I committed and then signed in February. So DiNardo was the person who gave me an opportunity. He also wanted me to play cornerback when I got in there. He's like, I think you should play cornerback. I'm like, nah, coach, I'm going to try quarterback just because. And so I guess thanks to my stubbornness, I was able to start as a true freshman 7 games into, my true freshman year, and then be the starter for the next 3.25 years or whatever you want to call it. And so it's not only solely because of my talent or how intelligent I was at the quarterback position, but it was because Coach DiNardo entrusted in me, and he really felt that I could do the job. And so in that, I'm indebted to him forever. Coach DiNardo and I never had any run-ins because I was always trying to do the right thing because I had another father, my dad, John Aguilar, who I was really terrified of, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to let him down. And I was really wanting him to be proud of me no matter what. But I have seen where Coach DiNardo I think he's not handled certain situations correctly. Now that I'm a man, now I can see and I can understand what that truly means. He could have handled things a little bit different with certain people. I think there's certain people who could be a different person today than they are now had that been changed or handled a certain way back then. In all honesty, I have not talked to Coach DiNardo, spoke to him one time since 1998, 99. So we've literally never had conversations. So, I personally find that strange because we spent so much time together. And at the time he was the adult, I was the child. Now I'm an adult, so I can get his number at any point. I should be able to call him. And I do want to call him and talk to him, just have a conversation. We kind of see where his head was during the time when I was there. And the rise and the fall of Coach DiNardo was, I think, due to, and I don't know this per se, this is me looking at it from the outside looking in, but I think that he could have made some better decisions on the coaching staff when later in his career, like call it my senior year. There's no way you bring in Lou Tepper to come and run that defense that he ran in against the people we were playing in the SEC. That's not the right move.
Right.
You also don't make, forget his name, my God, who was a receivers coach.
McConnell? Bob McConnell?
Yeah, and I think he passed away here recently. You don't make him the offensive coordinator just because you're being stubborn about it. I don't think that's the way you do it. And maybe he wasn't being stubborn. Maybe he didn't have any choice. That's the only reason that person he could put there. But there's some situations like that. He had a really great opportunity in Indiana as well. And I don't know what happened there, but he could have been really great had he just, I'm assuming, try to change something a little bit and just maybe go with the times. But I will say this, though. It's very hard coaching. It's very hard to put yourself in a position to be able to understand 18 to or 17 to 21-year-olds. And if you can't do it, you have to get the right people on the staff to be able to do it. And then you also have to be forward-thinking and understanding what's coming next. It's kind of like tech, right? Everything in tech, it changes just like that. The same thing with college football, same thing with children, same thing with young adults. How do you capture their attention, make sure they're doing the right things, but give them something to look forward to and someone to look up to? So you have to not only be a leader, but you also have to be a forward thinker to know what's next so that they can be more understanding and more willing to be able to do the things that you need them to do. So in all of that, in saying all of that, I think that I think Coach DiNardo was perfect for his time at LSU. I think it could have lasted longer. He could have done the same things that Nick Saban did, who came right after him. However, you could clearly see the difference in the two people and who they are in their trajectory on the path of coaching in their careers. Now, one thing that was really interesting to me, and I think I looked this up, when Coach DiNardo finished his career at LSU and Nick Saban finished his career at Michigan State, they had the same exact winning record and loss record.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And
it was very similar, yeah.
And then you see the difference of what happens after that. Coach Saban become probably the greatest coach of all time, and Coach DiNardo goes to coach at one school, and then that's probably his last coaching stop.
Yeah, yeah. And is he he's a product of, he played at Notre Dame in like the early 70s or something. Yeah. I mean, sensitivity's not high, right? I mean, the way people are getting treated back then a lot different than they are now. And it was the my way or the highway type thing, right? And you kind of think, well, Saban's the same way, but Rohan and those people will tell you that he did have his give and take and knew how to do it. And also, I mean, just real quick, I mean, he really pushed LSU. I don't want to use the word bullied, but hey, we're building this Cox Communications building for student athletes. We're going to build this football ops operation. We're gonna add a lot of things over here that they don't have before. And I don't know if DiNardo could have ever done that with Joe Dean as the AD and so forth. But
yeah, I don't. Nah, I can 100% agree with you on that. I don't think that would have happened in that way, but I do think the things that he could have controlled, he could have done a little bit better.
The coaches, like you said.
Yeah, things like that. He could have controlled that a little bit different in the way that he treated certain people. So here's the thing. Instead of throwing people away, how do you get them to be better? How do we get to yes, right? We always talk about that.
Yeah.
How do we get to yes versus it's easy to say no and move on, right? And then that's it. And then you're trying to find the next person. But it's going to be hard either way. It's just as hard to find the next person as it would be to put some love, a little care, a little touch, a little feeling on somebody so that you can get them to the right place of where they can be. And they're 17, they're 18, they're 19. They're not fully developed, and their brain is not where they need to be. They can't critically think in the way that they need to be. They need to think as an adult because they're not there yet. So as the adult in the room, you have to figure out a way to be able to do that. Now, a lot of times what happened was it was one strike and you're gone. It was never like a 3-strike type of thing. Or
I heard stories like a guy 5 minutes late for a meeting and just got banished.
And you're done. You're done. And you may not even be physically done, like meaning kicked off the team, but you'll never get a chance to play again. Like never. And that's not good. And I don't think that's the right way that you approach it. Then, as a leader of a company now, I think that when I think of those things, I try not to do those. And sometimes I get myself into a fault and into a place to where maybe I take a little bit too long to make the hard decision to get them to where to make the decision in order to move on from someone because I'm trying so hard because I feel like I can help them and I think they have this and I know they can do this and that kind of stuff. But for when it comes to 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, you have to be there to guide them. You cannot throw them away. The moment you throw them away, what's going to happen is they'll never, ever get back on their feet. Now, there's a story here and there that's I guess, a little bit of the exception to the rule, but ultimately you have to be the one to serve them right.
Yeah. Well, and in his defense, it's a long time ago, and some people think we've overcorrected the wheel and we're way too soft now.
Agreed.
And coddle.
Yeah.
But we're maybe in the middle of those two things. Yeah. Right. Maybe fine. But now with this transfer portal and them getting paid and everything, there's some good to that, but then there's some bad to that. Are we creating monsters and prima donnas with some of this stuff?
Well, what you have to do is you have to have people hold themselves accountable. Right, and they have to have someone to answer to at the end of the day. So, yes, you have this fine line of where you need to be. You can't be too soft. You can't be too hard. Just be normal. Just be right down the middle. And hey, this is what my expectations of you are. If you can do this, great. And if you can't, then we'll move on. We'll go somewhere else and whatever. But ultimately, if a person makes a mistake, they have the right to be able to redeem themselves.
Yeah.
Now, you still have to put regulations and guardrails on what that looks like and then how you move forward, things like that. That's the only thing I was saying about DiNardo. Now here, today's time is a little bit different. It's a lot different, actually, because you have so many things that are just everything is so sensitive. and so in that, how do you create the I guess the person to be a little bit more tough than what they are, and I mean tough by meaning mentally tough, because everything is not a problem. Some things may be a challenge, but it's not a problem. So, and then you just got to be really careful in how you manage and maintain the relationships with these children.
A few more things with the great Herb Tyler here. So I mentioned the fact that Rohan saw you, said there's a black quarterback. There were black quarterbacks before you. Yeah. Melvin Hill was in recent, right? Yeah. But you were the first really to get in there and stay in there as a starter. Yep. And some people out there, well, what's the big deal? Well, I mean, I don't want to say that you were a barrier breaker, but you kind of were. I mean, how cognizant were you of that, or not at all, or what? Were you playing football, or what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so very aware of that. I mean, before I chose LSU, everybody in my neighborhood and around the city in New Orleans on the West Bank were like, you don't go to LSU. They'll never play a black quarterback. They literally would tell me that before. But then when I signed, they were like, yeah, I don't know why you did that. You should have went to wherever, right, Oregon State or wherever. And so I was very aware of that. But what I did not do, and I'm sad to say I did not do this first, was listen to that and then take the next step and see exactly what they were talking about and dig deep into that, because they were black quarterbacks before that went to LSU. They didn't play, but they were there on scholarship, who were to play, but they didn't get the opportunities. And so now it's interesting that you bring that up, because it makes me very proud to have done the things that I've done. And I don't say this often, probably rarely ever say this, but one of the reasons why Rohan went there was because of me. There's a reason why Jamarcus Russell was able to play, Marcus Randall was able to play, Jordan Jefferson's able to play, Jaden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winning candidate quarterback, was able to play because I was one of the guys that was able to play at a down in and down out year in and year out. And Melvin was one of the strong reasons why I wanted to play, because I just remember Melvin starting actually in 95 or 94, I think Melvin started the Florida game in 94. Mm-hmm. And so and when I say Melvin Hill. Mm-hmm. And so that's important to me, and it's important to I guess my family, the race of people. And it's so weird that you bring that up, because I just watched for the first time this SEC story thing, and they go back and they talk about a lot of that, and is literally the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and then the 90s, right? And it's so profound to realize we're not far removed from the type of things that were going on at the time. But it's such a beautiful thing to see how far away from it that we truly are, and that everybody's really accepted, and that we still can be one and not be segregated, but still have an opportunity to get the same education as everyone else.
Yeah. Well, to your point, I think the first black players came in 72.
70, something crazy like that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is
it's amazing that
not
it's
not that long ago. No. Being the quarterback of LSU, I was talking to Tommy Hodson. He's sitting right there yesterday talking about, he said, maybe I wasn't ready for it, but I sure liked it. Yeah. All the things that came with it. Now, okay, on one end, things are going well. Maybe you're getting too much credit. I don't know. And then things are going bad. They boo in that stadium sometimes. Yeah. So how do you handle being the face of the team and walking around on campus when things aren't going well, perhaps?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for me, and I know Tommy probably noticed this a lot too, early on when you're winning, you don't get a lot of the criticism. But it's strange because I did get a lot of criticism, so I'm not going to say I didn't. I was getting hate mail sometimes about certain things that didn't have anything to do with football. I was getting really congratulatory mail from people who really loved what I was doing. And in the stands, I don't think I ever got booed in the stands. And the crazy part about that is because I don't actually hear the fans in the stands whenever we're playing, because I'm so focused, and I can only hear them when I'm on the sideline and watching the defense. But when I'm on the field, I don't hear any of that. It's only hear the people on the field. But being the face of LSU football was one of the things I did not take lightly. There was a couple of reasons. One, because I was the starting quarterback for LSU, my home state, and I wanted to represent very well. And then two, I wanted to represent my family, my mom, my dad, my kids, myself very, very well. And then three, I wanted to represent my neighborhood, my city, and then my community that I represented. I wanted to do that. And I had a great father who would always tell me that that you make you. And what that meant was you can't let anyone else determine who you're going to be. You are the person that determines who you are. And he always would say also along with that is be what you expect, right? So if I expect Jock to be really great and humble and nice and beautiful to me, I should be that. But if I expect Jock to be, this nasty human being to me that's really rude, then if that's what I want to be, that's what I'm going to be. But I don't expect that. I expect Jock to be this really nice, humble, beautiful person to me that's going to treat me with respect. And so all of those things stuck with me as I was leading LSU in football. And not everyone gets that honor. I mean, that's one of the most coveted things in the state of Louisiana is one, to play football for LSU. And then two, it's even harder to be the starting quarterback at LSU. Like, that's not a thing that you just take lightly. That is something that people really, truly, truly, like, live their whole lives dreaming to be. And some people will never, ever even have an opportunity to come close to even doing it, but they can still dream about it. And so I was fortunate enough to have that responsibility. So I hope I represented well, and I hope that the people can say that, at the end of the day, that was a well done job by Herb Top, period.
Well, that was beautiful. I think that's a perfect place to end, but what are your thoughts on Garrett Nussmeier, watching him?
Oh, so what I see, and I hope this doesn't get people too hyped, but this is what I see. I see the same thing that happened to Joe Burrow and the same thing that happened to Jaden Daniels happening to Nussmeier. I don't know about a Heisman Trophy winning year or nothing like that, but I do know that last year set up for him to have this catapulting year this year. I think he's going to see the field much better. He's going to slow down. Everything's going to slow down for him. He's going to be able to put the ball where he needs to. He's going to have so many weapons to throw the ball to. It's the thing that's going to be the question mark is, can they protect him and can they open the holes up for the running back? And I'm going to put that on the coaches and not the kids, because they're the ones that need to make that happen. But he has a very great opportunity to be wonderful this year, and I think that this year is going to be his year to shine. Awesome.
Brian Kelly, he's 29-11,
Mm-hmm.
and still some people say, we're going to fire this guy? If we don't make the playoff and so forth. So do we care? We've always cared too much, Herb, about this stuff. But, I mean, is it at just an insanity level now, just the firings and the buyouts and the money going into it and the kids getting paid what they're getting paid and everything? It really is just kind of, it's like running on a treadmill at 15 miles an hour or something. Yeah. Did I ask a question?
Yeah, you did. I think,
is it too much?
No.
Yeah.
It's just the change in time. Mm-hmm. And so how do we adapt to it, right? And what do we do to put the parameters in place so that we can make sure that it doesn't fall off the rails? I think that's the key. And so Brian Kelly being 29-11, there's no way we should be firing Brian Kelly anytime soon. You go find another coach that can be 29-11. Okay, no one knows who it is. Okay, great. Or if it is someone, and everybody's going to say, yes, Nick Saban, he can come in, he's not coming back. He's never coming back. But, Coach Kelly, here's where I am with Coach Kelly. I wanted Coach Kelly before Coach O, believe it or not. Coach O was great for us, and he's one of the greatest coaches in the history of LSU football, one of the greatest ambassadors for LSU football.
He was the head coach when they did things they've never done.
Never done before. And so now that we have the guy that I always wanted, I think now is year 3? 4, whatever it is, year 4.
This is 4 for Kelly, yep.
Mm-hmm. So here we are now. He's finally got a little bit more continuity at the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator positions. He's got some really great position coaches. He's positioned himself as far as talent on the team in a way that it's not been seen in a long, 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 long time. And I think that he learned from the first couple of 3 years on that first game situation. I think he's going to go into his first game where he's not holding anything back and they're going to just let it fly and go. And then I think that he's always going to give you at least 10 to 11 wins a season. This year, I think he wins more than that, and I think he gets us in the playoffs, and I think we do very well.
Thanks for stopping by this edition of Jacques Talk with LSU quarterback great Herb Tyler. Please share and like this content, and we'll see you next time.